JD, what did you see from the offense today? Because it seemed like the offense is clicking. Just simply put, it's just clicking finally.
Yeah. So what I saw was we made some huge plays. Rashee Rice was brilliant as always.
Man.
Travis Kelce, people that was talking about him slowing down, doesn't see an ounce of truth in that at all. And you have Isaiah Pacheco doing what he does. And then, of course, the cherry on the top was PM15. Look, when you have big games, you had to have big players show up, okay? And all your big dogs showed up on offense today, no doubt about it. And so that's what you needed to see. You needed to see that. And then you have everybody, the other group of guys filtering in, right? Like even Richie James, catching a couple balls for the first down. McCole Hardman even stretching the defense like he did,
trying to.
But the thing is that I'm telling you what that did to the defense. It opened it up because now they're throwing deep. So you got to think in your back of the head. Well, now we can't just sit 8 over here or 7 in the box and try to keep them in the short range because now they're throwing deep routes. And McCole Hardman, we know, could take the top off the defense. They knew it. The one guy had to grab him around his waist because he knew McCole Hardman had him beat. Matter of fact, McCole Hardman had each guy beat each and every time.
Yeah,
they just didn't connect. Just didn't connect. So that's vital. That's very important. So when you see Rashee Rice catching those balls over the middle, the deep crossing routes, that takes that McCole Hardman running that safety off. He's got to be able to open up, and maybe take 2. That's how these things work. And so Patrick Mahomes got the ball out of his hand clean, real well. I think we kind of struggled a little bit in our pass blocking. I'm gonna say up front, and the reason I say this is because they was bringing 6. We've been having problems with the ET stunts and the loops all season, and I seen that tonight. All right, it's just my observation as a coach. We got to do a much better job, and I don't know why we haven't done a much better job. You know what helps out with that? When you have a guy like McKinnon who understands, some of the, the blocking, he can make us look good. He can make it look like everything's clean. And so some of the pressure that they brought was because of that. Nobody was passing off like they should have been. Yeah. But other than that, man, I think Pacheco ran hard like he always does. I said he was the core. He was the one that needed to get off, and he showed exactly what we needed to do. Once he started running the football, everything started opening up for us all as well. So
I know you, JD, and I talked about this a lot on the show. That opening drive to throw the ball the first 2 plays, I know you were like, "Oh no, please don't tell me we're starting like this."
Golly, I'm sitting there. I was already crossing my arms like this. I'm like, yo, this is what we're doing. Did we just nobody got the memo? Like we just don't understand. Like this is what we're gonna run. We're not gonna run 10. We want to do that. And so once we got the first down to Travis Kelce on the first one, hey, yes, hand the ball off to Pacheco, please. Okay,
yeah.
That's the game goes as he goes. So that's what it is, man. That's what we're going to, man. So that's what I've seen offensively. So I know somebody said, getting Kelce going early was another key to it, and that rightfully so. The way that Rashee Rice has just been, showing up. The way he catches the ball with his hands, to me, is impressive, especially in the cold. Because I'm just like, they said it. And we used to hear it all the time, like plucking the ball out of the air. In a game like this, because it hurts so much, you usually try to body catch and you try to do different things like that, man. And he's catching it, clean. He was catching it clean. So he did a phenomenal job. Catching the football, getting open. And they did. They started running some man coverage. They started running some zone. And guys, he found a window, and Patrick threw it to him. So at times when our offensive line gave Patrick time to throw the football, he picked them apart. If we carry that into the next game, then that's I have no problem with that. And I still say some of that may have to do with, maybe the weather had a little bit to do with some of the things, the play calling you want to give. This is what I would do. I'm just going to say, when we're down going into the end zone, within 3 or 4 yards. We need to bring a guy in motion who's going to be like that lead back. I know somebody was talking about fullback, play that position, and I'm just like, if you have that tight end or whoever it is, I don't care if it's a wide receiver, bring Justin Watson in and let him motion all the way down. Let him be the lead guy. Okay, hand the ball off. I think plays like that, man, kind of open up too. But sometimes when we sit there, we run spread, and then all of a sudden you hand it off Pacheco, then they got the numbers on us. And guys not coming up to get to the second level. And so we got to get a little bit more craftier or a little bit more, how would I say it? More intentional on how we're going to block, especially down there going into the end zone. So I would say that's something that we need to focus on. We definitely need to focus on those things. So that's just that for me as looking at offensively, we can do a much better job in our running game by incorporating a little bit more motion, running some guys up inside to go block it as lead blocker.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Shout out Chad Holbrook, Jason Dunn, Arm.
Chad, my man, appreciate you, brother. Yeah.
Yeah. So talking about the offense, there's a couple things I want to get to. We'll start. You mentioned Rashee Rice. I thought this was funny. Nick Wright. He's obviously everyone knows huge Chiefs fan. Very biased. A lot like the other Bengals, Bills fans cannot stand him, but Chiefs fans, we love him. We love having a national guy. But he tweeted Tyreek Hill in the NFL playoffs the last 2 years. This goes against the whole Chiefs need Tyreek Hill narrative, even though we won without him. But people forget that. The last 2 years, Tyreek Hill in the playoffs, 12 catches, 131 yards, and 1 touchdown. Rashee Rice in the NFL playoffs the last 2 years, 8 catches, 130 yards, 1 touchdown. Last year, Rashee Rice didn't play in the NFL. So really it's 1 year, and he's already almost exceeded the amount of yards, same amount of touchdowns, and only 4 less catches. I mean, just a funny little thing there. A little nugget.
Come on, man.
But Rashee Rice, man, he looked phenomenal today.
Rice snatching those balls, man.
Yeah.
Man.
It didn't look like it was cold for him at all. He was just grabbing those things like they were sucking in there to those hands, dude.
Everybody else was bobbling balls. He's the only one that I didn't see bobble a ball at all. I mean, he was catching it clean and running with it. Like he was running, tucking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he was carrying defenders with him too. I mean, obviously, we know he is after he catches it. JD, we talked about the last few years when you get to a certain point in the season, these rookies, especially guys who are starting as much as they are, getting a lot of reps as they are, you say they're not rookies anymore by the time they get to week 17. They're not rookies anymore. And it seemed like Rashee Rice, and obviously we've seen him progress throughout the season. That does not seem – what we saw tonight, that doesn't seem like a rookie to me, especially and we're talking about in the elements, too, of this game. That didn't seem like his first rodeo in the playoffs.
No, man, it's like a new season. I mean, you know exactly what's expected out of you. And he's fit into his position really well, right? I mean, that's and so he understands it. You could tell how comfortable he is being, the number one receiver for us. And that's what you want. That's what you want from a guy. We seen that from our corners last year, right? During the playoffs, same thing. They were just kind of showing up, and they were just comfortable where they were at. And once a guy understands his role, and it's like, look, these are on your shoulders. Hey, look, we're not going to anybody else. You are number one. He's like, man, I get it. I'm cool with it. And he just performed like he's supposed to. He only knows what he knows, right? And so if he's been catching balls, he's been killing defenses, he only knows what he knows. And that's scoring touchdowns. That's scoring touchdowns, right? Getting first downs and just making yards. So I think, man, he continues this thing up. He's going to be a great player down the road. I love to keep a guy like this and then ask somebody else next year, with him. But that's all I know. It's a whole different conversation. But, he's I know it. He stepped into the number one role extremely well. So
Rice and Kelsey, 22 targets. I mean, no one else got more than 3 on the team.
Shoot.
What did we say at one point this year? Like 90% of the targets need to go to Rice and Kelsey.
Yeah.
It was even nice to see MVS catch a ball.
Yeah. For first down.
Good for his confidence.
Yeah.
There you go. Maybe he can build off that. Maybe send him deep. I don't want to get too bold. Don't get too confident, but he can track the balls better than Hardman. He just can't catch the balls. That's been his problem more so. We had 6 red zone trips, which is great, and we scored at least a field goal in all of them. 2 out of 6. I mean, that kind of goes with our red zone woes all season. Against a more high-powered offense who's clicking at the right moment, and maybe at Buffalo, perhaps those will need to be one more of those would need to be a touchdown. 3 touchdowns and 3 field goals. I would prefer that. That's 30 points. You know what I mean? I'd like to see more of that. Granted, yeah, that Rice one got called back. That could have easily been one. But and we're nitpicking at this point because we played amazing. But yeah, that's my main negative aspect. I just wish we had a little higher ratio on that one.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.